Certainly. So I'm Sofia Olhede. I work at UCL and I'm associated with 3 different departments there, which sort of reflects data science, which was sort of the topic of the panel. So I'm in maths, computer science and statistical science. And the panel was chosen all outside academia. So we had the public sector represented by Sian Thomas, who comes from the Food Standards Agency, Patrick Callinan, who comes from Channel 4, and then Rosie, who comes from dunnhumby, which is the analytics company of Tesco. And they all have very different experience of data. They all have very strong sort of commitments to the people who use their services or who go to Channel 4's website. So they've got very strong ethical standpoint in terms of how they treat their data, not sharing it, not redistributing, but only using it for the purposes that they've told the people who are visiting the websites regarding the usage. Well, one of the interesting aspects of data science is that it's still a very ill-defined area. So everyone seems to know what big data is when they see it, but they can't really define it. And similarly, data science is very hot and lots of people claim to be doing it, but no one can really say what it is. So we started to discuss how do you hire good data scientists given then not very many universities who give out degrees in data science. So Sian talked about setting up her unit at the Food Standards Agency and how they've been getting Twitter analytics people in just to understand norovirus, and it's a really cool application. And then Patrick Callinan talked about how Channel 4 deal with the difficulty of recruiting. And Rosie, coming from dunnhumby, she doesn't have quite the same difficulty in recruiting, but they all expressed sort of concern that how are they going to deal with the future challenges given they're sort of barely keeping up with getting the people they need. I think the most powerful message was really that all of their stories were consistent. So all of them said that they had difficulties recruiting. They also were very excited about what they can achieve with data science. So it was a positive message, but also a slightly worrying one. And how do we get more people engaged in the subject? Do things need to happen at the lower levels, like secondary school, so that people have the basic skills? And something else which is often recurring when you have discussions like this is how do you get management in who understand enough of the analytics to sort of contribute to the process when they're not directly involved? Everyone seems convinced that getting large volumes of data together, linking data sets, it can all create sort of a cheaper options. It can make for a better society. It can increase democracy. But at the core of the challenge lies answering the technical problems we have to enable such developments. So yes, government can sort of get help from data scientists to increase democracy, have more involvement in decisions, but the technology needs to be there. And one of the things that came up was that of data sharing. And Sian called out for sort of more efforts in helping data sharing. And I think that's a lot of technical challenges which still haven't been met. Well, it sort of has multiple resonances, right? So at the basic level, you can think in terms of engineering and technology. You can think about having the infrastructure to achieve connectedness. You can think about people living in the countryside having the same services as people who live in the city. And that's, of course, a great ideal to strive towards. But then you have the second sort of facet of this. Connected means talking. It means people from different areas of the country being able to exchange ideas and collaborate, even if they're not necessarily at the same place. And there's a positive aspect to that connectedness of being able to achieve more because you're connected. One of the main things that connect researchers are cool ideas, which may sound a little bit gauche, but basically most researchers want to work on things that have the potential to be transformative, that have really the ability to push the boundaries of what we can achieve. So I think it's really getting the message out that the things you're working on have the potential to really change what we do, but also identifying problems, important problems where the solution can make a big impact on our lives. So it's not just about researchers finding new tools to solve problems. I mean, one of the cool things about Sian was she said, well, we're making data available online because the problems we can't solve, and we want to engage broadly with people to solve these challenges, on a time scale that's realistic. So I think it's really finding that idea of what makes an important problem. It has to be technically challenging, thereby making it fun. It has to have an impact, so it matters to people. And the fundamental computer science, engineering and maths problems have to be interesting enough to engage people. One thing that people ask me a lot about is the Alan Turing Institute, which is my new place of work. The Alan Turing Institute is the new National Data Science Institute. It's been operational just for a few months. The joint venture agreement between the partners who formed the institute, which is signed earlier on this year in the spring, and we're very much gathering people together to start collaborating within the remit of data science. One of the big exciting aspects is just interdisciplinary work and the potential this might bring. So we're bringing together engineers, computer scientists, mathematicians, and also social scientists who understand how people data functions and what we can get out of it. So we're all bringing all of these people together under one roof to do research. And one of the really exciting things is we've been running a series of workshops over the last 2 months, really, running until the end of the year and a little bit beyond, to get a notion of what people want to be working on. And it's very exciting. We're going to write a report once we're through this process and figure out what is data science to researchers and how can we all come together to make a dent on these sorts of problems.